Hey guys, welcome back to Last Southerners on the Left. Tonight we just kind of wanted to give our thoughts and opinions on some of the cases we've discussed so far and be a little less formal. And a lot of the times we realize we read off of a script because that's what we do. We're not real charismatic people when it comes to this. We like to research and dig into the cases and see if we could potentially find new information and share with you guys to kind of get the emphasis on the importance of these crimes or missing person cases, but
really the purpose of this video is to kind of just introduce ourselves and really give our opinions on what the cases, since we really haven't done that. I'm Jalen. I'm 18. I'm a major in psychology. I should be graduating hopefully at the end of the summer if all goes as planned. He's a little bit older than me,
I have a background in law enforcement. Not to go into too much detail because I am currently still employed, but I've been, I went to college for criminal justice, and cases like this have always fascinated me. And they all have their own level of importance, but what motivated me to get into this is our son was battling brain cancer, and so he ultimately lost that battle, and it kind of resonated with me, the importance of the Austin Wise case, particularly because she lost her son, or her son is missing, not necessarily lost, but so it kind of really hit home, and Jalen brought it to my attention, and it kind of really motivated us to take our videos in a different direction. And since then, we've really dug in, and we try to get as many facts as we can, and we try to, like I say, we use aliases in a lot of our videos, just kind of protect people, but at the same time, we also want to bring as much emphasis on the case and get, maybe if it's law enforcement that needs to get more involved, maybe if it's somebody at home that is sitting on some information, they'll get more involved and maybe help solve these cases. Because if you're a parent, like many of you are, it's really unimaginable to lose a child, or your child to disappear and just not come home one night. And it's a hard thing to lose a kid, and it's probably even that much harder to not know. Yeah, to not know where they're at.
Really, in all of these cases, the parents don't know. Like in the Jacob case, his mom knows that he's dead, knows that he's gone, but she doesn't know what happened. She doesn't have any sort of, what's the word that I'm looking for? Closure as to what happened to her son, because no one's giving answers. No one's coming forward and saying exactly what happened. All she knows is that he's dead. Austin's mom has no idea, what happened to her son. She may have like a small inkling of what may have happened, but she doesn't know for sure because no one's coming out with the answers. No one's coming forward. No one's telling her where her son is for sure.
And until as a parent, I'm sure, and we've spoken to these family members, and there's still that inkling of hope that one day, their son or will just come through that front door. And until for sure and you have that closure, you always hold out for any possible hope, and that's what motivates us. If there's if there is any situation or circumstance that can bring closure or peace to a family member, then by us using our platform, we definitely want to do that. And so we thank you guys for watching, and it's you guys that can actually help us turn up clues, or by showing interest in our cases, and
hopefully pressuring whoever knows something into saying something.
Yeah, and that's what like I said, that's what motivates us. But we'll start with the Baby Jane Doe case. That case for me particularly, I was had some free time, and I like to read and research anyway. So I was researching missing person cases in our area, and then I found where the sheriff, there was an article by the sheriff at that time that he was basically talking about how the Baby Jane Doe case had always haunted him, and you know, that he could never figure out what happened to that. And I could imagine being an officer called to the scene and seeing, you know, an infant. In that particular case, that infant was inside of a TV console covered in concrete. And, you know, I could see that haunting me for the rest of my life. Even doing the research that I did on it, you know, it's cost a couple of, you know, nights of lost sleep for me. And so from there, we take that case and then we go branch out into looking at all the missing persons cases.
Around that time.
Yeah, around that time. And then we,
that
you know,
fit the same, you know, frame as her, like, you know, her ethnicity and her age and her height and her weight, because you can't have a baby that was, you know, Caucasian and
yeah, we narrow it down.
Pounds and say this is it.
When we found that there was no, you know, there was no similar missing persons in Georgia, we branched out to Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, and South Carolina, North Carolina. Ultimately, when we found a match in South Carolina, that's what, you know, led us to the, you know, to the person that we thought, like we mentioned in the video, that could have possibly been baby Jane Doe. And I think there's still a possibility that could, you know, that could be who that is. And then ultimately, like I say, for that video, it would be up to the two sheriff's departments to do a DNA test. And with modern technology, then it shouldn't be too hard to get that, you know, get that process started. And so by doing our videos, we hope that, you know, maybe somebody from the two counties say, okay, yeah, this is a good idea. Let's just rule this out. And so, and that's where we were at with that.
Or confirm it or whatever.
Yeah, because no matter how many years go by, it's still just as important to those loved ones to know what happened to their family. And the next case that really, like I say, got us involved was the Austin Wise case. And we're still, you know, as a matter of fact, I got a tip today on that. And, you know, and in my opinion, I think the original story that Austin was, you know, thrown in a well or, you know, out there on the property that we were talking about. And I think that's where Austin is. And, you know, it would take, I guess, you know, the local sheriff's departments to get a warrant and do a thorough search on that property. But from everything that I've heard in the short time that I've been looking into it, as well as some tips that she's heard, you know, that would definitely, I could say if I could get anything to happen from doing this, it would be new search warrants and more people looking into that case and going out there and really, you know, doing a deep dive on that. Because from all the stories that we've heard, from all the clues that we've gotten, you know, I just can't for the life of me understand why there haven't been extensive search warrants out there. And then,
I mean, honestly, if we've heard those things, then law enforcement has most definitely heard those things. Even if it was, you know, off the record, on the record, they weren't on duty, whatever it was, you're still a cop at the end of the day. You still work in this district. You should at least be going back to your supervisor and saying, hey, I heard this information about this case. I know that we cover it. Should we do something? Yeah,
and if nothing else, that would clear the people that were, you know, allegedly implicated. That, you know, it would give them peace too, because I'm sure their family went through hell with this also. And if they are innocent, then I don't see why they wouldn't be on board to say, hey, look, search. And maybe they have. We don't know. We're just going by what we, you know, what we hear from the family and friends and people involved. And like I said, even today.
And no offense, but we haven't really heard from the other side. So we can't sit here and tell you that this is what they said or this is what they've done, because we don't know, because they haven't told us. And
I have reached out to, you know, some of the people that we mentioned. And I did get a response back, but they're really vague. And they won't, you know, they won't go on the record, and you know, they just don't, you know, they don't want to talk about it. And you know, it's hard for me to say, you know, everybody's story deserves to be told if they won't tell their side of the story. Even if nothing else, but to come and put a broad denial of saying, hey, I've got nothing to do with this. You know, you guys have false information. You know, this didn't happen, but this did happen. And so far, from all the family members and friends and people that are off the record with this, the story pretty much matches up the same thing, that Austin was shot, Austin was buried on that property, or either thrown into a well, and
essentially buried.
Yeah,
on the property.
yeah, and that's where Austin is. And at first, I wanted to eliminate that story by doing this. I wanted to say, there's got to be some other answer. And I looked into the gang aspects. I looked into, several other people that were allegedly there that night. And I've talked to a lot of them, and a lot of them will tell me they're not comfortable going on the record, but they'll tell me, hey, no, that's not what happened. This is what happened. And when you hear all these different stories from all these different sides, then you can kind of sum up what happened, in your opinion. And again, all this is my opinion, but it's because I'm researching and finding out things. And the story always leads back to Austin was shot and Austin was buried on that property. And for this to be a small town, people talk. They talk about it all the time. So,
I do.
And on that, we appreciate everybody that's come and messaged us. We appreciate the off the record conversations. And again, if you guys wanted to go on the record, we would definitely put you on here. We'd set up an interview, and and you can clear your conscience or say your side. But so far, nobody's wanted to do that, and we can understand why. And like I say, it's not on us to solve this case. It's just on us to keep the story talked about, and maybe get the sheriff's departments to solve it.
Hopefully.
And the latest, Jacob Connor, and again, small town. What did you say? Fargo had like 300 people in it.
316.
Yeah, and we talked to some people from there, and just kind of like in the Austin case, they don't want to go on the record, but they're saying, hey, the people that did it are the people that worked with him on that crew that day.
And which is so crazy. That case is so crazy because if you think about it, if they did it,
yeah, and
we don't know what happened.
The details of that case were really
because what did Jacob do? Get out the tractor, turn it over?
Well, no, they actually found Jacob buried under some brush, and and it would have taken tractors or heavy equipment to bury Jacob's body under that brush. And keep in mind, that went through a county search, a GBI search, state troopers search. They all went out there and nobody found his remains. So that tells you just how buried, Jacob was underneath brush.
But I'm still caught with the tractor being turned over.
Yeah, and like you say, the tractor was turned over. So it looks like maybe
they could have took that tractor, put it somewhere far away from his body, standing up, being like, I don't know, he must have drove it out here and just walked off.
And the thing with that is there still, to this day, hasn't been any charges filed, in that case. When, to me, you're limited to possibly 3 to 4 people that were there that day. And
that's really it. I mean, because who else was out there in the middle of the field in Fargo, Georgia?
Yeah, and exactly. And you have, you've now found the body. So for that to not get the attention
to not at least be in custody for, 72 hours that you can hold somebody?
Yeah, you can hold them for questioning.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they do that? I think in 72 hours, somebody out of those 4 people is going to break.
Mm-hmm. So
I would.
And that's that's the cases that we've done so far, and we're looking into several others, and we kind of want to keep it somewhat semi-local because we could easily go on these videos and talk about the high-profile cases, but you can look on YouTube and you can look on the nightly news and see information about those cases all the time. And what we want to do.
Cases that aren't really well known, aren't getting the justice that they deserve, aren't getting any type of movement on them. Something that you're not going to look up on YouTube and see 1,000 videos on.
Mm-hmm.
Like we could do 1,000 video, or we could do a video on. I wish I could remember names, but Chris Watts.
Yeah, Chris Watts.
We could do a video on Chris Watts, but you could also look up a video on YouTube of Chris Watts, and you're gonna scroll and scroll and scroll, and there's gonna be thousands of videos about Chris Watts and how he murdered his whole family.
So our passion and motivation is to keep it somewhat local. I mean, I'm sure there will be times where some other cases catch our eyes, and we'll be out there, and if we feel like we can add value to those cases, then we'll definitely put them out there for you guys. But as far as...
And don't worry, I would love to talk about Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, we are true crime true crime fans over here. But and that's it. We just wanted to share, you know, a little bit about ourselves, where we think this is going, and what our thoughts are on the cases so far, and, you know, show a little bit of who we are. And if you guys have questions or, you know, things that you want answered, just let us know, and we appreciate it. And keep viewing our channel, and if you see our videos, share them, because it's not just for us, it's for the families. We're not monetized, so we're not making any kind of money off of this or anything. We're just doing it just off of you know, just because of personal experience, and we want to help. And till then, I've been Daniel.
And I'm Jalen.
See you next time.